Oh, you're in it.
Oh.
You're all in it.
So cool.
All right, we are live.
Okay. So I'd like to call the meeting of the Jamestown Local Development Corporation to order. And the first thing that's on the agenda, or not on the agenda, that I want to just take a moment to introduce Eily Maku, who is our new Economic Development Coordinator. So not only is she new to the position, this is her first time at this meeting. So welcome, Eily.
Thank you. Happy to be
To
here.
those of you who have not had the chance to meet her.
It's
She's
been
been
trial
a-
by fire.
Yeah, she's been a great addition so far. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
So the first thing on the agenda that we have is the consideration for the approval of the revisions to the loan terms of the Fire Guide LLC. So Crystal?
Yes, so welcome. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves and give us a quick overview of your requesting to revise the terms. So if you recall, last year we provided a loan for just over $97,000 to the Fire Guys. Their business has been booming. Made some changes, did some really great upgrades to their building that they purchased using loan funds. And so they are refinancing some things, and their bank is requesting that we take a second position. So our loan was, we took a first lien position, and so I'll let them explain kind of how they got here and why that request is being made, and then we can have some discussion.
So I'm Mick Willis, this is Luke Ames. We do bounce houses and Christmas lights, and our business has been growing. We purchased the warehouse 270 Steel Street last year. We are growing faster than we expected, so we have two loans on the building. We have one through JLDC and one through Cody. Cody's a higher interest rate, it's 10.5% over 10 years. So we'd like to use this money to buy that loan out. It would save us money on interest over the term of the loan, and then use the additional money as a cash out refinance for the warehouse with the equity we built up. Use that to buy another truck and trailer and hire 2 more employees. So we already have 2 employees that we just hired, and we're looking to double our crews. We have more work than we can handle, so we'd like to add more employees to accommodate the increase in work for us. Our sales have been consistently growing year over year. This past year we were busier than we could handle, so we actually had to turn stuff down. So this year we don't want to do that. We want to hire more people, get more people jobs, good paying jobs. We pay pretty decent. But this would help us get that second truck and trailer to run 2 crews and hire more people on the books with some good pay. But Northwest is requesting to be first on the loan. So JLDC would have to move to second position in order for them to be interested in this. So we're coming here just requesting for the JLDC to move to number 2 on the loan, so we can facilitate this cash out to grow our business.
Are there specific questions from anyone?
Sounds pretty good news.
We
Yeah,
often
we're very
will
happy
take a
with
second
that.
position, especially if we have other finance partners. They have been current on their payments right from the very beginning. I think it's really great news that they're growing faster than they can keep up with, and that they're adding 2 additional employees. I mean, that's.
What else are you doing besides that?
So all summer we're nonstop with bounce houses, and then the winter, which used to be our downtime, we started doing Christmas lights. So we are year round now,
It's pretty wild.
6 days a week minimum.
Everybody wants a bounce house?
It's insane. The demand is way higher than we can
That's
handle.
cool. I mean, it's good. It's like,
Well, the Christmas lights thing is like.
Well,
Yeah, that took off way faster
yeah,
than we
but that's
expected to.
pretty
Great.
narrow. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so you take them down too.
Yep. It's completely hands off. That's why it's nice, because they get to enjoy them without having to do anything.
Is that your equipment or theirs?
It's ours. So we buy everything. It's all commercial stuff. We actually had to go down to Philadelphia for a training on this to buy the lights that we use.
Cool.
So they're very high end. They're very good lights. There's a house on Brad and Ivy in the city. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
It won.
I was gonna say, did
It
it?
won,
It won.
it won an award.
That's our
for-
pride and joy is that
Oh,
house.
wow.
2 years in a row.
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we absolutely love that. We put a lot of pride into our work, and
Yeah.
we're happy to be here in the city. The city's been great to us.
I gotta
JLC's
remember
been
that.
awesome.
It would save a lot of swearing.
That's what I'm thinking, like, man, I put lights up and I'm just, yeah.
Still the stress of watching my husband.
Come inside, come
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, nobody likes being outside in the cold. But yeah, our business has been going great, and we couldn't have done it without the JLDC helping us with their purchase of our warehouse. So we're very appreciative of the help that the JLDC has given us, and excited for this opportunity to continue growing.
Need a motion?
Yes.
All right, I move that we change the terms of the mortgage here to the second position after Northwest Bank.
Brent made the motion, Luke second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Awesome,
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
We appreciate your
guys.
time.
Keep up the work.
We'll get you adjusted
Tony needs your card.
information and
I'll
everything documented.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, alright. Next, we have the consideration for the approval of the loan request from Monroe and Moore LLC. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
So you guys got a nice big packet of information that I sent out. And they are handing out some additional information. I know they prepared a presentation for you. I won't,
Are actually short.
oh, I can make a couple of copies.
So I've got some before and
Maybe.
after pictures. I'll have everybody. We can pass those around if anybody's interested.
How many do you need, Dylan?
I mean, if you wanna take mine, you sure can.
I can go make a couple of copies.
I apologize, we were expecting not to see it.
You guys go ahead and reintroduce yourselves and start your presentation, and I'll come back with copies.
Alright. So, hello. How's everybody doing? Nice to see everybody again. We're definitely happy to see you guys and be back here in front of you. Before we start, we kind of wanted to give an update on our current project progress and our projects that we're working on now. We just finalized our 2024 taxes, and our statement shows a $235,000 income. On average, our revenue is between $650,000 to $700,000 per quarter. And we've received positive feedback on our daily rates, and after the loan that we were provided from the JLDC with the skid steer and excavator, we've been able to provide more services to our customers. We are currently closing out 4 new construction projects and have another set to begin in May. We are currently working with JCC to establish a specific job description with workforce development programs. And we're still looking to relocate to the city of Jamestown. Last time we were in front of you, one of the points that was brought up was to bring our business to the city of Jamestown because our home location is in Faulkner currently, and we're still taking steps to do so. We've looked at countless buildings and lease opportunities. We just haven't found the right one that fits our location, but we are in talks right now with a location here on Washington Street that seems to be the location we need. During this process of kind of looking to relocate, if you want to refer to the application, the JLDC application, the use of funds and project financing schedule, it's page 12, Schedule G. During the analysis of our services, we recognize that we need to thoroughly evaluate our target market and the services we provide. This process unveiled areas of improvements and documented instances where we have fallen short of providing requested services at competitive rates. To clarify, our research shows that roughly 50% of our turned away services involve gutter installation. And that's why if you turn the page to the gutter machine, I believe it's page 2 of the packet. We're seeking a portable gutter machine that can take rolls of sheet metal and form them into residential and commercial gutters. Currently, the availability of seamless gutters poses a significant challenge for most contractors. Without a machine seamless gutters are largely inaccessible. For instance, if a customer requires a 35-foot gutter on the front of their house, purchasing a pre-formed gutter from a distributor and transporting it to the job site would exceed the budget of most gutter jobs. Additionally, we would need a trailer long enough to transport a 35-foot piece of material and locate a manufacturer that's capable of producing at that rate. This inevitably would delay the entire project. Most gutter installation jobs are a day or 2 jobs. This would turn it into weeks. And with this machine, we're able to do 35 foot of gutter in 1 minute, on site. Any questions on the gutter machine? Great. As we're speaking,
Currently doing it now or not?
yes, so we're currently installing gutters, but if we wanna provide a top of the line quality, material, the problem is that we have to buy them in sections. So if we buy a 12-foot section of gutter, there's a seam, and that seam is inevitably a fail point for the gutter, which we can't warranty the entire gutter because it's in sections. So if we have this machine, we can roll off one solid piece of gutter. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
So that saves time and money,
Oh, extremely.
and for the, obviously for the homeowners.
Exactly. We can cut the cost in half, being able to roll it. So we pull up in a truck, the machine is already preloaded with its coil system, feeds into the machine, bends the coil into the shape of the gutter, cuts it, we install it, we're out of there in hours versus days. Just a touch with the gutter, with the gutter and insulation side of things that we're gonna talk about today, currently we're going to work under our current infrastructure, but we will need to hire most likely 2 per service that we're talking about. And that's why we're working with JCC and Workforce Development to try to catch our workforce in the learning stage. Before I move on to the spray foam machine, is there any other questions with the gutter machine or why we are looking to aim towards that direction? If you can open your packets up to the 2 spray foam handouts. During this analysis, we identified insulation as another area where we're experiencing deficiency in providing requested services, and more specifically bottlenecks on our current projects. Out of four new construction projects we are currently working on, 3 of them have been delayed due to insulation contractors who are based out of town or exhibit unprofessional conduct. Currently, we are providing insulation services in the form of fiberglass bats, but majority of our customer base requests spray foam insulation. Spray foam has become the preferred insulation option among our customers. And more directly, with our new builds, when we have to subcontract out the spray foam portion of the project, it delays our project between 2 to 3 weeks, between waiting for their scheduling and them mobilizing their units, getting them to our sites, working within our parameters. So for us, as the general contractor, the builder, 2 weeks is huge to a project timeline. 2 weeks is our buffer that we have to mess up. If we're losing our buffer to make mistakes to subcontractors scheduling, it puts us in a situation where we're bound to stress. Right? And to also clarify on these, I wanted to make them very short and direct. So this is the direct aim at what we're trying to do, because I believe these services kind of speak for themselves. But I wanted to open the floor for any questions directed at why we need these units or how we plan to operate them or anything.
Yeah, I think that's pretty.
Okay.
Leave it alone.
Lastly, demo. Okay. So demo, we came to you last meeting, very specifically looking to get into that market. We have actively been bidding and researching the demolition services. Our data shows that we are competitive, but we can reduce costs and offer lower prices. If you could turn to the dump truck page in your packet. Also along there with those 2 pages are 2 redacted bids for demolition. You'll see
it's in the
our
back.
price.
With the balance sheet. There's a income statement she's at.
You'll see our price versus our competitors. Acquiring a dump truck will allow us to control one of the most expensive processes in demolition. Using our current dump trailer and this truck, we will replace the subcontracted dumpsters, reducing disposal costs by 50%. This will reduce the total cost to the customer by 30% and place us among the top 10% of bidders consistently. Any questions with the demo truck?
So your bids were the ones with the stars on?
Yes, we didn't want to include the other contractors' names just based on confidentiality.
Yeah, we were pretty much the median bid in all of these, and it was pretty consistent, even because they'll combine multiple deals into one bid. So even on the individual ones, we were right in the middle. So we're precise, but we gotta dial it back.
And currently, we have to subcontract out our dumpsters. That's huge. We're paying $500-600 a dumpster just for their name on the dumpster, not even to dump. We have to pay another $600-700 at the dump to dump the material. So if we can take out basically the lease fee of the dumpsters, that's going to skyrocket our price. Now, yes, it's 1 truck versus 8 dumpsters, but with 1 in-house truck, we can pull the truck, pull our dump trailer in, fill it, rotate that out, put the truck in, rotate it out, and do it kind of
It's gotta save time,
in
too.
an assembly line. And it's controlled within.
And with the excavator purchase, we got a special attachment that will break up the material down, so we can spend the time to really break things down and not have to worry about rentals.
So, and I'll just put a plug in, you know, I think one of the reasons that, you know, we were supportive the first time that they came to us is, we all know we have issues with trying to get enough contractors bidding on these demolitions, and we can't seem to get things going fast enough and down fast enough because, there just aren't enough contractors to do them. And so, you know, having another company that is able to provide us with competitive bids, and I could probably tell you who the top 2 lowest bids are in here, and it's the same 2 that are consistently bidding and have the lowest rates. And it's because they also kind of play a game and they like to outbid each other. But to be able to have another company that can provide a lower bid and be more competitive price-wise will help also free up some of that time that we lose, because we're always awarding the bids to the same 2 contractors, and they're waiting to finish one job before they can start another job. So, you know, I think that this will help allow, again, another more competitive bid and just grow the pool of contractors that we have available to us. So.
Yep. To speak on what Crystal is speaking on, as well as through talking to the entities that are overseeing these bids, they've told us that they're giving the individuals 3 months, 90 days to do the demo. That's crazy. I mean, to me, that's crazy. A demo, if we were awarded the demo, within 2 weeks we're there. And we're mobilizing our units. The difference between us and the entities that are on the lower end, they're their machinery is in rotation during the summer doing driveways, paving roads. That's their moneymaker, right? But in our process, our operators are looking to demo. That's what we're looking to get into, is demo and infill. Demo and infill.
Well, and I think it's a difference, right, because where our current pool of contractors, they're rotating between paving, which is where their bread and butter is all in the warm months, and they're doing a lot of their demolition work in the colder months, right? So we know we're going into the warmer season, we're gonna have a big delay in demolitions again, and we're gonna have, you know, our residents calling and complaining about, well, I've been looking at this, you keep telling me it's gonna come down. It's like, well, the contractors are probably not gonna be able to get to that until after paving season is over. And that just is the nature of you know, the contractors that we have available. I think one of the biggest differences to me that stands out is that Monroe and Moore is getting into the demolition business more from a site preparation to prepare it for its next thing, right? Because you have the other facet to your business that is the modular construction and building homes. There's, I guess I kind of see it as you have two separate but very much intertwined pieces to your company.
Right.
So it's, you're not relying on a paving season
Right.
to make
Right.
your,
Our units are dedicated to foundation and demolition. We do not do anything more with them, which is directly involved in our modular construction and infill process. Where we're looking to take down houses, acquire them, take the foundations out, install new energy efficient ICF foam foundations, build affordable and or residential housing, and move. So if we can do that at a cost that's competitive, then we can be a part of the process from start to finish. You know? We know we can't corner the entire market, but we'd like to be involved in the change, in the process of trying to change the skylines of the city of Jamestown, especially the communities and streets that we're dealing with right now. And that's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take more people wanting to do more things. You know? But we all don't have, we're not all fortunate to just have the capital to do so. So, any other questions that I can answer about our direction? We did provide you with a design for the trailer that we're looking to build out for the spray foam system. Just so you can see kind of where the funds would be allocated. We also passed around some before and after images of work that we've done and working on.
If anybody's interested, we have a copy of our capability statement that we provide to government entities, and we're showing we're a certified minority-owned business.
We do it, and since the last meeting, it was a big topic for us to try and get our MBE certification. We did secure that on the 24th of January, so we are a recognized minority-owned business in the state of New York. So that's been huge. We get slammed with requests for bids on these projects daily.
it's great. And this, I only printed one of these, but I'll pass it around. So, you know, as part of the collateral, package, assets, and so this is included, and thank you for sending this, Adam, in Monroe and Moore's assets, so you can see that, you know,
That's my
there's
wife.
some
in the
collateral
city.
there.
I was just,
That's my
I
wife
love
in
that.
there.
It's
Hanging out.
This is so
Collateral
cute.
there.
Yeah, we're starting to use a new asset management software that'll also be able to track our inventory. So not only we're gonna know where the trailers are at, but which foreman's assigned to them, what equipment is in there, what's getting checked out and checked in between each job, so and stay coordinated that way.
With the property you're looking to purchase, are you gonna be coming back to us again, or are you gonna be looking at conventional mortgages?
Or the issue that we're having, and you're looking more into relocating the business that we're looking.
So it's lease.
It's a lease, yes. Unfortunately, we did talk to the property owner about purchasing the site, but there's remediation questions on the site that the landowner isn't being very cooperative with answering, unless we put in an offer first. So that's kind of an area where we don't wanna play that game, so we countered him with a lease option and leasehold improvements to the site, to act as a dealership, if you will, and a landing site for our structures, and to bring back our, the day in, day out loading of our trucks, so on and so forth. So the goal is always to end up back in Jamestown. It's just the pool of what we can get into just hasn't been there.
And just to clarify, they still have the Benedict Street address, and there is still administration that happens there. We've had some conversation about this site that they're looking at, and I've reached out to one of our environmental consultants, and we will help do the background information. If there's environmental concerns that have been already reported, it will be available. So we will be able to help get that information for them, so that if the property owner, and it could just be that they don't know, right? So we'll be able to do some historic background and find out all of that information, and then, should it come back that whether there are environmental concerns or not, at least once we know that, we can work with them to determine what the next best steps are. And, in our continued conversation, the goal is for the manufacturing. I think that's, that's the big goal. For us, we really wanna see manufacturing here. I think this is a good next step, bringing the demonstration project and having an actual administrative building where customers can go and sit down and have a conversation and see what they do. And that, we'll be here, so.
Just makes sense, it's kind of the dealership row, it's a great place to have those life conversations. On page 20, the street view actually did catch them in doing some cleanup. It looks like in May of '23, they've got some heavy equipment, excavators and such on site there, so they did something.
That may have been, they used that site for, the DOT used that site for staging
Oh, did
when
they?
they were reconstructing Washington Street.
I see.
So I think that's probably what that is from.
Okay. Yeah. So as you can see, it's a great site, but there's questions. And for us to dive in blindly, it's just not smart, right? So if we can act in a lease opportunity until the purchase, pops up, then we'll take that route.
Is this your equipment out there?
Yeah, that's her.
With the
So
red
that's-
Yeah,
so
red
cute.
boots.
Yeah, another growing business.
The what?
Yes, did you need to talk about anything on that, then you got the
Does anyone have any questions on the loan request and the additional that is being requested? This still, because it's over $100,000, again, it will have to go to city council for a secondary approval. But all of the financial information is listed there. Clearly, Monroe Moore has some skin in it, quite a bit, actually. We'll maintain first position on all machinery and equipment, accounts receivable, and all assets of the company. And then a personal guarantee from Dylan as the owner. And then, the payments that we've received so far, we would apply that toward interim interest, and then new payments and the new dollar amount would start up, at the end of July.
That's good.
Tony, second.
I'll second.
Vicky? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
This will be on the agenda.
Yep, I'll add it for new business for tomorrow. Hopefully she can get it in.
She won't be in, so you're
Oh,
gonna
that's
get it
right.
with Joe.
Oh,
Okay,
we don't vote till.
okay.
Yeah, we should-
No, but I'd like for it to go on
Yeah,
and have some
work session.
discussion for the work session. Yeah,
Yeah, Joe,
I just couldn't put it on before we had this meeting.
Joe will be here tomorrow to do that.
Okay. So, expect to see it,
Right?
okay?
Good news.
Yeah.
Much.
It's good to grow faster than you can keep up with.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, we
Keep
couldn't
going.
do it without everyone here, and we're just happy to provide positive feedback on your investment. So we're gonna keep moving.
Great.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Take some down, build some new.
Yep, it's a full cycle. Awesome, thank you so
Thank
much.
you guys. You have a great day.
You too.
You're welcome.
So we do have two of us. Okay.
Alright. How you doing?
You're up.
Okay.
Got you, Fred.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jared Picard. I'm one of the managers who worked on the JLBC audit. Been with Drexler Malecki for a couple of years now. I think I've been on this audit for 3 or 4 years. Always a pleasure to work with
It's been
JLBC. So in front of you, you got a presentation. The first couple slides are just, I'm going to go over some of our required communications, and then just a couple slides to go over kind of some of the financial information for the year. So in terms of the products of our audit, the main document we provide is basic financial statements. So that's this thing here, I think is in front of you. Within this, there's 2 opinion pages that are on our letterhead. That's essentially what we own. That's what we come in to provide as Drexler Malecki. The other information, the financial statements, the footnotes, we assist in the compilation of that information, but that's management's financial statements. They own that, we own those opinion pages. To provide the opinion, which in this case there's 2, the first one is basically on the financial statements themselves, so saying that the balance sheet, income statement, statement of cash flows are all fairly stated. There's another opinion in the back of the financial statements which discusses government auditing standards. That's kind of a separate, unique to government's audit. There's federal guidance that's published that gets applied to every type of governmental entity in the country. That is, we dive a little bit deeper into internal controls. So we don't provide, it's kind of confusing, but we don't provide the opinion on the internal controls, but we assess your internal controls to help us make your opinion on the financial statements. The second item is the auditor communication letter, and I'm going to get into that a little bit more detail on the next slide. So our responsibility, and this is the primary reason for the auditor communication letter, this is like something that's required under auditing standards. And it kind of just lays out your responsibility, management's responsibility, I should say, and then my responsibility as the outside auditor. So basically, you create all the information, we come in as an outside third party, dig through your books and records, we apply statistical analysis, sample based on dollar amounts and risk, gather all that information up, interpret it, and then say, you guys can put these statements out into the world that we think that they're free of material misstatement and can be relied on by other third parties. Significant accounting policies. If there were any change in accounting standards, or if you guys changed something internally that changed the presentation of the financial statements, we would have to disclose that to you. There wasn't anything like that this year. You could kind of take last year's financial statements and hold them up to this year's, and there's not going to be any real big changes. There's some governmental accounting standard changes that happen that impact more like the city, but you present your statements more like a nonprofit does. You just kind of happen to be the government. Significant accounting estimates, there really aren't any, other than your allowance for doubtful accounts, which is related to some of the loans that you're not expected to collect on. You don't have, all your employees are kind of under JURA more so, or under the city, so all the long-term liabilities associated with them fall onto those entities. JLBC doesn't really report any of that, it's more just cash in, cash out. Myself, as well as everybody at the firm, is required to be independent of JLBC, and we're all required to attest every year that we don't have any conflicts of interest. So I'm not friends with anybody on the board or taking you guys out for drinks later, anything like that.
Oh, man.
And then other matters would be if we had any disagreements with management over accounting treatment or felt that we didn't have open access to the books and records, we would have to report that to the board. We didn't have anything like that. We received full cooperation. Everything we asked for, we received. So nothing to worry about there. On the next slide is revenues and expenditures for the past 5 years. And as you can see, this is kind of a funny looking chart. Kind of from 2020 to 2022, there wasn't a ton of stuff going on. It was mostly just your development loans, and then there's some downtown revitalization stuff that you guys are managing. This giant spike is essentially all that ARPA money that got passed through and that you distributed. So on your books, you show that as both a revenue and an expense. So it doesn't really impact net position too much. And obviously that was really spiked in 2023 and is starting to wind down in 2024. I think John mentioned we got about $1 million left, 25 to finish up. So. And the next slide is the loans receivable. Kind of a similar story from 2020 to 2022. Everything was getting paid off. 23 and then into 24. It was about a $530,000 increase in net. So that's $600,000 in new loans and then about $70,000 in payments. And then on the last slide is your overall net assets. So generally speaking, JLDC presents a very strong financial position. You have a fair amount of cash plus a large balance of loan receivable, and there's no real liabilities here. So it's all just kind of assets. So overall, very strong financial position, gives you some kind of capital to work with. And so this year there's about a $663,000 overall increase in net assets. And that's primarily a function of issuing those new loans with the ARPA funds. So you kind of recognize that as revenue, and then it goes as an asset on your books instead of just being distributed with some of the other more grant-like items are. And then on the last slide, I have some contact information for myself as well as Carl, who is the partner on the job. I think our main observation is similar to what it was last year and I believe the year before, where we really just want JLDC to keep working on formalizing policies and procedures, getting things documented, and kind of establishing more strict, it's kind of a tough word, but system of internal control. Ideally, when your auditors come in, you really shouldn't have like any journal entries, or not really any major journal entries. So the books are being maintained on almost like a cash basis, so we come in, do our procedures, and then propose some changes. We really want you to like minimize or eliminate those changes, those proposed adjustments. So that's all I had. If anybody has any questions, feel free to shoot.
You know you'll be hearing from us.
Anything? All right.
Very good. Thank you,
Have a nice
Jared.
evening, everyone.
Thank you for making the trip.
Nice to see you again.
It's always a pleasure.
We keep you busy.
Okay. So then the other deep dive from him that has the management letter too that I encourage everybody to read. Okay, next on the list is the consideration for the approval of the fiscal year 2024 regular audit. Tony and Luke, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Carried. Item number 5 is the consideration for the approval of the JLDC board meeting minutes for the December 18th, 2024 meeting, which you have attached. I know Crystal sent them to you. I didn't quickly see anything that was different. Okay. Second? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item number 6 is the consideration for approval of the JLDC financial records.
And this will be for the 12/31/2024 that we just got done auditing with the adjustments that were suggested to the audit, with the auditors. Those adjustments were all ARPA things pretty much, except for one, and the unearned revenue portion, which is the same thing they did last year as well.
Okay, anybody else have any other questions?
Nothing sticks out.
No.
No.
Pretty consistent year.
Tom? Vicky? All in favor? Aye, opposed? None, carried. New business, Crystal?
I do have something. On April 30th, for those who don't know yet, we will be having a developer forum. It will be hosted at Wicked Warren. It's in partnership with the Board of Public Utilities, the IDA, JRC, and we'll have a number of presenters from the state, so Department of State, DEC, ESD, and Homes and Community Renewal. And the mayor will give a welcome introduction, and I believe Mark Geis will also speak for a couple minutes, and then I'll probably say something. But really, the presenters are from our state agencies to discuss programs that are available through the state, kind of give us, I think, a little sneak peek of consolidated funding applications, what's to come. The developer forum, we're really focusing on housing opportunities. We are a designated pro-housing community by New York State, which helps to prioritize us when it comes to grant funding. So we have, how many are we up to? We are
Last
still getting a
count
bunch
was
today.
91,
Wow.
and probably 30 of those are people like within our community, like people from Getty, JRC,
So
you know,
those who are participating in
organizations.
some way, so.
But that's, I mean,
Kinda-
we're looking at about 2/3 of whether it's commercial realtors, commercial lenders, developers from all over. So, should be a good turnout. We've had probably in the last few days, probably 20 or so registrants right at the last minute, so we're thrilled.
Yeah, we had to move up to the third floor of Wicked Warren's to accommodate us.
When is today the last day? of
Today
registration?
is the last day.
Okay.
Yep.
How does word of this forum get developed, shared,
It's been
Several
on
ways.
social media, I know the
We've had it on
posted on LinkedIn.
Yeah, the BPU has been the hard push, Ellen. We've had it
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, all social media. We've had it on our website. We've announced it at everything. I think we
And
go-
we've done some interviews.
Yes,
They've
we had
done a
some
couple
interviews.
radio
Our social news
interviews,
outlets,
so
yes.
it's been out there.
It's already
And then we did some email blasting, we have lists of contact information for developers that we've all worked with in some capacity, so I think I sent, like a reminder email out to over 200 people.
Yep. We also sent out jumbo postcards to, I want to say about 150 different organizations, so.
So we're anticipating a really great turnout. We see it kind of as, accomplishing a couple of things. So the networking aspect of it, I think, will be great. Connecting local developers, like Dylan, for instance, with some of the out-of-town developers that have been doing this kind of work. So it's 2 tracks, focusing on 2 tracks. One is adaptive reuse of some of our downtown larger buildings. And of course, there's a housing component to that. And then kind of scattered sites. So some of the sites that we've been working with the land bank to acquire, do demolitions, and sort of strategically target different neighborhoods. So there'll be two different tours, one for those who are really focused on more of the adaptive reuse of the larger buildings, and then one for those who are looking to maybe do some infill or, scattered site type of development, so.
It's gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
And I suppose for any of you or council members, if you wanted to just stop in for,
Absolutely.
at some point in time.
See what's going on,
Yeah, see who's there.
A will be at Wicked Warren, I think, presentations are from 10:30 till like 12:15 or so.
No welcome is at 9?
10.
10.
Or, no, it is 10:30, I
Okay.
think, registration starts at 10,
Okay.
to be
So-
open.
And then after we have some lunch, we'll, there's a tour bus that will take those who are doing scattered site stuff, and then the other part will be a walking tour.
You're down to
downtown.
Unfortunately, I'm not retired anymore.
But I think it's an opportunity to
Yeah.
at least.
What was the date of that again?
April 30th, yep.
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
It's gonna fly right by.
It is. It is, but I think it'll be a good day. So, and hopefully we'll get some traction out of that. We've been doing a lot of work to try to prepare us to start doing some housing, like actually start building, right? So there's still a lot that needs to be done, but this is, I think, a really key component to that. Start developing. That's it. That was my news.
I have nothing for executive session, so.
I have a question. I understand that the Chop House on Main has sold, or did they just sell the business now?
They
They just sold the
business.
business.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. So they are current with their payments.
They are.
Good, okay.
And I believe Slice of Home opens tomorrow.
New Pizza Place on.
Yes.
So,
That's what I'm hearing anyway.
Yeah, okay.
so Andrew Carlson, who used JLDC to purchase the building,
Mm-hmm.
he's opening that pizzeria.
Oh, he's opening.
Yes.
I've heard
Yes,
of it.
yep.
It is,
Build it
it's
right.
just, yeah, where the
Oh, just
old
down.
gym used to be,
Yeah, yes,
right next to the fresh
Yes.
press.
yep, right next to the fitness factory, which moved from that location and purchased a building, 10 to 12 West Second Street,
Which is being worked on.
which is being worked on right now, yep, so, yeah, all good investments by, through ARPA funding and the JLDC loan funds, so. Yeah, there's things happening.
They are. Okay.
Can I say thank you to the JLDC? February of 2000, I came to this table requesting a loan,
And look at you.
and 25 years on May 1st, I have
Wow.
been open. And it's thanks to this organization.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, you all
Awesome.
have watched me grow up.
I know.
So,
Well, I can't speak for anybody else, but I recommend you all the time.
well, thank you. And, I recommend entrepreneurs to come to this board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a phenomenal thing. I see these young men coming in, starting out.
Yeah.
Someday they'll be as old as me, so, but,
This is what it's for.
it is, and it works.
It does.
Yeah.
It works indeed, so, thank you all.
Congratulations. Thank you. And
What
thank
a
you
beautiful success story.
for being a part of this and continuing to give back.
Yeah, well, I remember Russ Dietrich was on this board, and I eventually took his seat when he stepped away.
Yeah.
So it's kind
Yeah,
of a
full
full
circle.
circle.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
And
Yeah.
encouraging others to take the leap like you did is
Yeah.
Yeah,
the best thing we can ask for.
it's a scary one to take, but.
Yeah.
And in regards to that, perhaps we should do some success stories like that on the 25th.
Yeah.
Like hit her on our,
I'm gonna write
Yeah. Can we use you?
Everybody
No pressure.
does.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'd love to do that.
Some goodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the thing they said to me. Well, actually, when I came for my interview, I brought snacks.
Mm.
And
Smart.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was the thing.
Can't turn that down.
No.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you brought evidence.
Yeah.
That I knew what I was doing, so.
Yeah. Well, and we have Eileen's skills now, so I think we were lacking a bit in our ability to produce some good marketing. And she brings that to the table, so, we've got
I'll be in touch.
all
She's done a
kinds
great
of
job like
plans
that.
for ways that we don't toot our own horn enough,
well,
We should.
familiar.
and we should.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Uh-huh, yeah. So, yeah, we definitely see that, that's an area where we have wanted to improve, and so we've got some ideas that we've been throwing together and strategizing, so.
Once we get the label in, we can start rolling stuff out, so.
Awesome. Anybody have anything else?
No.
Okay,
Move to adjourn.
okay. Tony and,
It got sent, yeah, I know, and they filled it out, and I didn't wanna tell them to take it back. We do have a new
I
letter.
assumed that was okay.
Oh, my goodness.
I gotta fix
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't,
No,
it says, it
it's-
says.
see some of
It's
those,
the same exactly. It's a ways.
that's even older.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Good luck the rest of the week.
Thank you.
Alright.
Busy week,
Yes, I know.
I know, it's true.
Yes, it is.